Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Let's see. God killed a kid that was sick and punished slaves because the kings were bad.
Yes.
And left them on this earth to do bad things again.
Yes.
But killed and hurt other people.
Yes. But then both kings died.
Right.
And their sons took over.
Oh, and there's shrine prostitutes.
Yes, there are shrine prostitutes.
Yeah.
And that's exciting stuff.
Right. Yeah, good stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was the gist of...
there's also a share of polls like galore.
Right. Yeah, those Israelites, they are not worshiping Yahweh.
Yeah.
Not
I just gotta
even
say,
a little.
We're watching Moon Knight finally. And they're going over those particular Egyptian gods, and they are as stupid as the gods in this Bible, and it makes me feel like, okay, that makes sense. They're not all powerful. They're just not.
Right.
Including this one in the Bible, even though he's not an Egyptian god.
But sometimes he is all powerful.
He's not.
He killed all of humanity other than Noah once.
He didn't.
I'm just saying.
It was a localized flood.
Right.
If that.
No, none of it's true, but I'm just saying that we're taking that at the Bible's word, that's all.
But we're taking it at the word of dum-dums who didn't know the map. So. Right. Okay. I'm just saying, like, these gods, like the ones in the show, they can't even keep up with the people. There's a guy in their chambers fucking lying straight to their god faces, and they don't know that he's lying. And then the guy is like talking to one of the gods as an idol, and even though he's doing so in the chamber of the gods, they don't overhear him. Right. So I'm sorry. No, these gods are all dumb. Like, you can blow wind and you can change the sky, but you can't keep up with one person doing bad things. Fuck off.
It's because gods don't actually exist.
No, I know.
Right.
I know.
So, anyway, that was 1 Kings chapter 14.
Yes.
And today we're getting into
1 Kings chapter 15.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie.
Hey, wife, do you like coffee in the morning?
I sure do, husband. Morning, noon, night. Which reminds me, I need to add that to our grocery list because we're running low.
Wait, before you do that, check out the website ungodlybrew.com where you can purchase a pound of your favorite flavor of coffee.
What if I want more than 1 pound?
Either order a larger amount, or better yet, get 10% off by setting up a subscription for every 2 weeks, or a month, or whatever works for you.
Did you set up something special for our listeners?
You know I did. Exclusive for our listeners, get an additional 10% off subscriptions by entering the code SACRILEGIOUSCOFFEE at checkout.
That's a hellishly good deal.
Ungodly Brew is hellishly good coffee.
Okay, 1 Kings chapter 15.
Okay.
We're about to talk about Abijam.
Abijam, huh?
And that is Rehoboam's son.
Ah.
Okay?
Okay.
And he's the one that took over for his father.
So should we start taking bets? Is he shittier or better?
I bet he's worser.
You think worser?
Worser.
How much worser?
More badder.
How much badder?
Way badder.
Way badder?
Because we don't know his name.
Hey, so. Batter.
Sawing! Bada bada bada. Yes.
All right. Yes. Anyway.
I think he's badder. What do you think?
I'll take the whatever the
opposite bet?
The opposite one, yeah.
You think he's good?
I'll go with better than
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam.
Man, I would not take that bet.
I mean, Rehoboam was whipping them with fucking scorpion tails.
He was.
So, I don't know.
No, you're assuming it's scorpion tails. It might have been scorpion faces.
Sure.
You don't know.
He's scorpions regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abijam, I forgot. How did I decide to say it?
I don't remember.
Abijam began to rule over Judah in the 18th year of Jeroboam's reign in Israel.
Yeah.
He reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom.
Okay.
Remember them guys?
Yeah.
He committed the same sins as his father before him, and he was not faithful to the Lord his God as his ancestor David had been.
So just same.
Same, right out there.
Yeah. And he only ruled for 3 years?
Yeah.
Is it just to like fill the gap when Jeroboam was like done too?
I think so.
Okay.
But for David's sake, the Lord his God allowed his descendants to continue ruling, shining like a lamp. And he gave Abijam a son to rule after him in Jerusalem.
I feel like it's more like a candle that's about to go out constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why did he love David so much?
I don't fucking know. David was done. Oh, you know what? Speaking of David, it just occurred to me like 2 days ago when I saw a picture of some nuns posing in front of the statue of David on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you told me about
and
this.
I was like, oh... You know, he's naked.
The statue is
and
naked.
I never knew, and it just now occurred to me that, you know, he went dancing through the streets naked.
Yeah.
And okay, so there's a reason that David's naked statue, you know?
Yeah. That makes sense.
It makes some sense a little
funny.
bit. I didn't never know why David was naked, you know?
Like, why they gotta have that naked statue all the time.
Right. But now it kind of makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. He was dancing.
Right.
He was a naked dancer.
He was a naked dancer.
I gotta tell you, I would not want to dance naked. And I certainly would not want a fucking statue of me doing so.
Right.
For David had done what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, and had obeyed the Lord's commands throughout his life, except for in the fair concerning Uriah the Hittite.
Right,
you know.
Except for that.
So he did.
Seemed like there was a couple other things too.
He had a lot of people killed.
Yeah, and there were some questionable
things.
Was
a shitty ruler.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have a list of it all, but I mean,
he was a bad husband. He was a bad father. He was a bad ruler.
Right.
He just wasn't great.
I do feel like I could have a list of you know many things that he was not good at.
Yeah. So, not cool.
And probably were not in God's favor.
Right.
Even.
Yeah.
So.
There was war between Abijam and Jeroboam throughout Abijam's reign.
Wait, I thought God told him to knock that shit off.
He did.
Okay.
He didn't listen.
I guess they just, Yeah,
they don't ever listen.
Right, yeah.
The rest of the events in Abijam's reign and everything he did are recorded in blank.
What the fuck?
That's going to be in my Q&A tomorrow.
What is going on?
I don't know. I'm going to find out tomorrow what all those missing in... They're recorded in something.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
There was constant war between Abijam and Jeroboam. When Abijam died, he was buried in the city of David. Then his son Asa became the next king.
Okay. Yeah.
Asa began to rule over Judah in the 20th year of Jeroboam's reign in Israel. He reigned in Jerusalem 41 years. Damn.
Oh, wow.
His grandmother was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. Asa did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, as his ancestor had done.
Oh, they got a good ruler.
You bet on the wrong guy.
Yeah, I bet on
the wrong son.
Right.
He banished the male and female shrine prostitutes from the land and got rid of all the idols his ancestors had made.
I mean,
damn, that's shocking, honestly.
As far as worshiping God goes, good on him, I guess. Yeah. So.
He even deposed his grandmother Maacah from her position as queen mother, because she had made an obscene Asherah pole.
Oh, no.
Damn. He cut down her obscene pole and burned it in the Kidron Valley.
Wow. Why did you take it to a valley to burn it?
Because it was the Kidron Valley.
But couldn't you just burn it outside?
No,
just
he
right
had to,
where it was?
He probably had to take it outside of town and do a whole ceremony about it.
Maybe maybe he concealed it and took it to the valley so that no one else would know that the Queen Mother had an Asherah pole.
Well, I'm betting that they either had a specific place that they burned their poles to get rid of stuff, or maybe it was where they buried their trash.
Okay.
I'm betting that there was a reason.
This is like their mound of shit?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Although the pagan shrines were not removed, Asa's heart remained completely faithful to the Lord throughout his life.
Yeah.
He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and gold and the various items that he and his father had dedicated.
Because you know how the Lord loves that silver and gold.
He loves that silver and gold. Silver and gold.
Right. See, it's in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was constant war between King Asa of Judah and King Baasha of Israel.
Oh, Baasha.
Baasha. Okay. King Baasha of Israel invaded Judah and fortified Ramah in order to prevent anyone from entering or leaving King Asa's territory in Judah.
Ah, you got to protect, you got to keep those
borders.
Golden calves safe.
Yeah, yeah. Asa responded by removing all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the temple of the Lord and the royal palace. He sent it with some of his officials to Ben-hadad, son of Tabrimmon, son of Hezion, the king of Aram, who was ruling in Damascus, along with this message.
Okay.
Let there be a treaty between you and me, like the one between your father and my father. See, I am sending you a gift of silver and gold. Break your treaty with King Baasha of Israel, so he will leave me alone.
He's trying to take over one of the other guy's allies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben-hadad agreed to King Asa's request and sent the commanders of his army to attack the towns of Israel.
Oh, wow.
They conquered the towns of Ijon, Dan, Abel-Beth-Maachah, and all Kinnereth, and all the land of Naphtali.
Oh, no.
As soon as Baasha of Israel heard what was happening, he abandoned his project of fortifying Ramah and withdrew to Tirzah. Then King Asa sent an order throughout Judah requiring that everyone, without exception, help to carry away the building stones and timbers that Baasha had been using to fortify Ramah.
Oh, man.
That's gonna suck for him.
Yeah.
Asa used these materials to fortify the town of Geba in Benjamin and the town of Mizpah. The rest of the events in Asa's reign, the extent of his power, everything he did, and the names of the cities he built are recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Judah, or Israel.
Oh, is that the book then?
In this
time they said
case,
the
we got a book.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. In his old age, his feet became diseased.
Oh, man.
I bet he had diabetes.
Sounds like it.
When Asa died, he was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. Then Jehoshaphat, Asa's son, became the next king.
Okay.
Nadab, son of Jeroboam, began to rule over Israel in the second year of King Asa's reign in Judah.
This is way too many fucking kings and
we're getting
times
overlapping.
And, like, when they ruled and how they ruled.
Yeah.
And who fought who and, like, and now to the next set of kings and now to the next set of kings.
Exactly. He reigned in Israel 2 years, but he did what was evil in the Lord's sight and followed the example of his father, continuing the sins that Jeroboam had led Israel to commit.
Okay.
Then Baasha of Ahijah from the tribe of Issachar plotted against Nadab and assassinated him while he and the Israelite army were laying siege to the Philistine town of Gibbethon.
Oh, all right.
Baasha killed Nadab in the 3rd year of King Asa's reign in Judah.
Christ.
And he became the next king of Israel.
I'm going to need a fucking flowchart.
Yeah, this is like just going in one ear and out the other.
Right?
So
like,
I'm not,
yeah.
I would fail a quiz.
Definitely would fail a quiz.
I'm not studying this.
No, I can't keep track of it all.
This guy did this and then he died.
It doesn't really seem all that relevant either.
It really
they're just going from one king. Like, basically, yep, there was some good kings that ruled longer, and then there's some shitty kings, and then there's some other good kings.
Yeah.
And then there's shitty kings.
Yep. And they kept being at war with each other regardless.
Yeah, and then some of them made allies occasionally, and they sent gold away and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, they did stuff.
They kept doing stuff.
Right.
Kings kept kinging.
They kept kinging, yeah.
King's gonna king.
And God punished other people.
Yep.
So...
He immediately slaughtered all the descendants of King Jeroboam, so that not one of the royal family was left, just as the Lord had promised concerning Jeroboam by the prophet Ahijah from Shiloh.
Well, thank God we fulfilled that thing that God needed done. Yeah.
That's
very important stuff
right
there.
Good prophecy filling.
Slaughtering people, you know?
Yep. Woohoo! This was done because Jeroboam had provoked the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel, by the sins he had committed and the sins he had led Israel to commit. Mm-hmm. The rest of the events in Nadab's reign and everything he did are recorded in blank.
That book that they mentioned earlier,
probably. I'm going to look that up.
Right, but like, what's going on here? Maybe it's just the thing you're using to read. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe we should abandon it because it's just suck.
It could be. It could be. So, I don't know. I'm going to look it up and see what I can find out.
Okay. All right.
There was constant war between King Asa of Judah and King Baasha of Israel.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, couple sentences left here.
All right.
Baasha, son of Ahijah, began to rule over Israel in the 3rd year of King Asa's reign in Judah. Baasha reigned in Tirzah 24 years, but he did what was evil in the Lord's sight.
Damn it.
And followed the example of Jeroboam, continuing the sins that Jeroboam had led Israel to commit. The end.
I felt like we just read that same exact fucking sentence.
It was a different guy.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a different guy.
Okay.
And they were all bad. The end.
Yeah, all bad. And that was
Except for a couple good, but who cares?
Sure. Whatever. I don't even really have anything to say at the end here.
I know.
Okay, so that was 1 Kings chapter 15.
Yep, it sure was. That's what happened then.
And tomorrow we're going to have our Q&A?
Tomorrow we're going to have our Q&A, and then on Sunday we'll have our sacrilegious book club, and also our weekly replay. And then on Monday we'll be back with 1 Kings chapter 16, which will hopefully be less boring.
Yeah. All right. We will see you guys then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.